let's go on to books.
Okay. How long have we got?
Because I've done it the different way, we've got 20 minutes.
Ah, right. Okay,
But
perfect.
it depends on
Cool.
what we decide to talk about your books, and we'll just show
Okay,
them, and
yeah.
then yeah.
Okay, yeah, brilliant. So I am currently reading, I've had this book for a very long time, and I've been reading it for a very long time as well. And it is Letters to a Young Poet. And this is sort of like a dialogue between two poets. The young poet is called Franz Xavier Capus. I think he's German. And the
Mm-hmm.
older or mature poet is Rainer Maria Rilke or Rauch. I don't know how to pronounce these names.
Ralph. I think
But
it's Ralph.
it's Rauch, yeah. But these are there are letters in here to the young poet, and their responses to the letters that are sent to Raina. And this is such a beautiful book because it allows you, or gives you permission, actually, to take time to listen to yourself when you're creating, and not focus too much on what people think, to what critiques say about your work, but for you to actually just be authentic in your making. So it's a really kind book. Actually, I would say it's kind in the sense that Raina gives advice upon advice to this young poet in making them realize that for you to be a great poet or a great writer, you have to be authentic within yourself. And it's just a constant, constant letters, just really kind of
Reaffirming
like
that.
honing in. Yeah, reaffirming that, exactly. So I'm reading that, and this book was suggested by an artist, actually. The Body Keeps the Score. And
Ooh.
yeah, and this book is written by a psychoanalyst called Bessel van der Kolk. And it's sort of like looking at patients that he's encountered over the span of him being a psychoanalyst, and looking at trauma, the transformation of trauma, looking at the mind, the brain, and the body, how that all sort of manifests into a space where your body creates a space in which the mind can influence how the body responds, how the brain responds. So it's a really, really great book that I feel is feeding into my work, because I'm interested in the physical, tangible experiences, and the non-tangible, emotional experiences. It's this Rainer Maria and Letters to a Young Poet.
I was gonna say, yeah, Letters to a Young Poet by Raina Marie.
Yeah.
Okay, and those are two books?
Yes, and actually, I wanted to read that small bit from Claudia Johnson.
Oh,
It's from
do,
this.
do, do.
Yeah,
I'm actually in chat. I'm
it's
actually in talks
absolutely
with Claudette
amazing.
currently.
And this is the book that I kind of do research on. It's called Sexuality. It's part of the Documents of Contemporary Art, and Amelia Jones is edited it. So this is from an essay by Claudia Johnson. It's titled Issues Surrounding the Representation of the Naked Body, and she wrote this in 1981. And this is the last sort of like paragraph in that's been put in this book. So it says, "It is no small task to try in art to reinscribe the overexposed female body with some of its innate power and subjectivity, to facilitate an encounter with a woman on the gallery walls that does not invoke a colonial past or a promise of salvation. A woman who is telling her story, her own story." so it just goes back to, my thoughts on actually using my body within performance or within body art. And, whatever you do, there'll always be biases. People will come with their own ideas of what the female body represents, what the female black body represents. But you just have to have your own kind of like, use your own intuition and just go
follow
through
your own. Follow your own.
Exactly. Yeah. And those that are willing to stick around and take the time to understand will stick around. Exactly.
Oh wow. Thank you so much for reading that out to us. That was an absolute pleasure. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
I always do this, and it surprises everyone. Like
Exactly. I am a bit surprised, actually. But I mean, what's your take on performance or body art? In relation to the female body specifically.
My take on it, oh my God, it can be a powder keg. I think it can be everything and nothing at the same time. Just having your experience relayed back to me, I had a person's name in my head, completely fully formed, now has left. Just in the sense that there's so much that can be taken from body art, or art that comes from the body, in terms of, as you mentioned, archiving as a process of recording and looking over it, because our skin is an archive of everything that's ever happened to us to a certain level. Our minds are archives, our hearts are archives, and there's a lot that's to be said. I think when it comes to specifically women, or the centering of women's physicality, and as you said, the interestedness or the disinterestedness in that body is a very important point. It's something that I continuously grapple with to an extent, because as you become more transparent in that video, and as the action becomes more plain, as the fact that you are more yourself and recognizable from that white ground that the video comes from, it's a similar way that I see the whole journey of this conversation having come from the kind of arch coming to fruition, because you are in essence saying, from a blank page, I insert myself in a way, but I don't just insert myself, I abstract. And then I also insert a different range of knowledges that I have around me. There's a lot to be said there.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I was tangential or spot on with it, but that's what I think.
I think so. Definitely.
That's kind of the end, guys, unless you want to go back in on anything I said.
Oh no, I think it's been really, really great to, if people want me to kind of let them know about the books, then I might put it in the comment section or find a way of,
I think what I'm doing with these is, because I've been promising everyone for a long time, I'm just cutting the video down to the bit where you start talking about your books, and then I'll say the library is open. And if you can remember the names, you can remember the names. If you can't see the names, you can't see the names.